Good evening. It's 10 p.m. on the East Coast. I'm Jalyssa Dugrot, and here are the stories we're following tonight. First, a presidential cabinet meeting that starts with laughter and turns into the president's sharpest comments yet on the war.
The gentleman at Syria that's now the president of Syria, he's done a tremendous job. He's put that country together in a year and a half.
Plus, America's friends, America's enemies. Tonight, we look at how quickly those labels have changed over time. And finally, our investigation into Utah's massive Stratos data center continues. This time, we look at the hidden cost for the wildlife that calls the area home. On this show, we know that you don't need more content, you need context. Anyone can tell you what's happening in the news. Tonight, we hope to help you understand why it's happening, and how it affects you. This is America Now. We begin tonight continuing to follow new developments in the war between the United States, Israel, and Iran. Multiple reports indicate the U.S. and Israel are preparing what could be one of the largest bombing campaigns of the war, with strikes possibly targeting Iran's energy infrastructure as soon as this weekend.
The entire Navy is laying at the bottom of the sea. I'd say that's going big. They had 200 airplanes, they're all gone, every one of them. They don't have one airplane. They had anti-aircraft weaponry, very good, but it didn't work, and it's all gone. Their radar is all gone. Their leaders are all gone. Everything's all gone, but they'll fight onward.
Meanwhile, federal investigators are also looking into a series of cyber attacks that disrupted water systems in at least 7 states. U.S. officials say they're investigating whether Iranian hackers might be responsible. At the same time, Iran announced it will strike the world's most important energy facilities located in Arab countries and Israel, all within range of Iran's precision missiles in response to any new U.S. and Israeli strikes. As always, this is a situation that can and will change by the minute, so stay tuned to America Now for the latest updates. A decade ago, if you fought under the banner of Al-Qaeda, you were an enemy of the United States, period. American presidents made speeches that they were going to hunt you down and kill you. We spent trillions of dollars in 2 decades fighting the war on terror against these groups. But what if I told you Al-Qaeda is in Washington right now? And then what if I told you that we let them in? This is Mohammad Qanatri. Earlier this year, he became Syria's official diplomat to America, the first in over a decade. He has a diplomatic passport, likely diplomatic immunity, free access to our nation's capital, and he lives in Washington, D.C. as of this January. The problem is he was in Al-Qaeda.
As we are a Muslim group, Muslim people trying to protect people from the Assad regime, from the Shia militias, to establish an Islamic country in Syria, Islamic State in Syria.
What do you mean by an Islamic State?
Islamic State is Islamic controlled by Sharia law.
Why did you join?
In Nusra? To protecting my people.
But why Nusra? Why not the Free Syrian Army?
Because the organized group and because of their goal. Their big goal, establishing Islamic State is very clear. Because of that make them special.
Is the suicide bombing what makes Nusra more?
It's not suicide, please. It's sacrificing.
At that time, Jabhat al-Nusra was the Syrian affiliate of Al-Qaeda. WikiLeaks revealed that the United States was in coordination with the group because they were helping push American foreign policy interests. Look at this email to Hillary Clinton from Al-Qaeda saying Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Don't forget Syria's de facto president Ahmed al-Shara, who is actually Abu Muhammad al-Julani, the ex-ISIS and ex-Al-Qaeda commander who overthrew Bashar al-Assad in 2024, and you'll never guess how he did it.
I was very responsible for the gentleman at Syria that's now the president of Syria. He's done a tremendous job. He's put that country together in a year and a half. Sort of like our country, a year and a half. It's pretty similar size. They said, please don't put him there. He's a very violent man. Al-Qaeda. I said, well, I know one thing, a Boy Scout's not going to work.
And now he's shooting threes with CENTCOM commander Brad Cooper. This feels, it looks, and it sounds anti-American at its very core. And if it sounds and is and looks like it's anti-American, then it probably is. Every U.S. administration vows that they're America first. But if they were, why are they propping up, providing material and financial support to terror groups, and then sending American soldiers to fight? And this isn't the first time. We saw it in Afghanistan when Washington backed the Taliban's diplomatic office in Doha while American troops were being killed. Over 2,000 U.S. troops were killed by the Taliban, by the way. And I would love to give you the American death count toll from Al-Qaeda, but we fought them in so many different theaters between Iraq, Yemen, and Afghanistan, it's difficult to keep track. So the cycle continues, and now 10 years later, America is still rolling out the red carpet for those same exact terror groups. Joining us now to discuss, we have Patrick Henningsen joining the show. He's the founder of the independent news website 21st Century Wire. Patrick, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
So I want to go ahead and start off with, the fact that you've, spoken extensively and covered the developments in Syria following the fall of Assad and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham's incursion into Syria. So are you at all surprised that we've brought on yet another member of Al-Qaeda into the White House?
Well, I guess not. I guess not. It's the most bizarre thing in the world, but it seems like unofficially anyway that Al-Qaeda and all its affiliates have been deproscribed by the United States. All is forgiven. The sworn enemy of America in the global war on terror is now its best friend. That's the best way you can look at it. So as shocking as it may seem, and it should be embarrassing, especially for Americans, that an investigative journalist like Lindsay Snell would come on record to point out the fact that one of her former kidnappers is the charge d'affaires for Washington from the newly minted Jolani regime in Syria. I don't know how better to put it. It's really difficult to put it any other way. It's pretty shocking.
No, it's definitely surprising, but I guess not at the same time, especially because we have an administration that touts that they are so pro-American, America first, Pete Hegseth, of course. We have war fighters, we love our veterans, but it's actually extremely, I would say, anti-American, anti-veteran, and maybe a betrayal to veterans that you are propping up and providing material and financial support and welcoming the very terror groups or proxies that we send our men out to fight and die for. What do you think?
Oh, certainly. The best way you can put this is it's a slap in the face to any American soldiers who fought in the so-called global war on terror, to any families of anybody injured or, God forbid, who lost their lives fighting these wars against these fabled enemies that now we can see that are not only kind of deproscribed by the U.S., but invited into the White House, and the president himself is spraying perfume onto the former deputy of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi from ISIS and the founder of Al-Qaeda in Syria, the self-proclaimed President al-Sharar, a.k.a. al-Jalani. I mean, how else can we put it? But it's funny. It's not the first time America has changed gears on a terrorist organization, even one that had killed Americans previously, the Mujahideen al-Kaq, or the MEK, or the MKO, whichever you pronounce it, from Iran. This was a proscribed terrorist organization, killed American servicemen, killed American officials during the Shah's reign in Iran. And of course, they were then taken off the list by Hillary Clinton in 2012 in order to create the funding mechanism for so many congressmen, senators, and people like Rudy Giuliani, everybody who was raking in the cash, MEK cash, to go up on stage. I think maybe even John Bolton was one of their main speakers, John McCain previously. But they were proscribed, and all of a sudden they weren't, because they needed the money from the organization and then use it to milk money from the wealthy Iranian diaspora that they promised that we're going to liberate Tehran, and the MEK is going to fly the royalist flag over Tehran this time next year. Just give us your money. That's what our congressmen and senators were telling these Iranian millionaires at all of these MEK rallies over the years. And this has been widely reported, of course, but it's just an example that it's a relative term, terrorism. It's a relative term.
And even in that same year, I think you mentioned 2012, there were those emails per WikiLeaks that came out between Jake Sullivan and Hillary Clinton. Hey, AQ, Al-Qaeda's on our side inside of Syria. We're good, all on that front. So, I mean, we continue to have these, I would say, blatant examples or even proof right in front of our hands to recognize these patterns. So given that, do you see, if we could forecast into the future, do you see any other group that might come to the forefront of America's latest, proxy scheme? Do you see any country maybe turning into another Syria in the aspect of the incursion of Hayat al-Sham, for example?
Look, the United States has proven time and time again that it will do business with the worst people on the planet, whether they're hardcore Nazis and the legacy remnants of the Waffen SS divisions in Ukraine, the Azov battalions, etc. They'll not only back them, arm them, but they'll give them media clout, and the worst of the worst in the Middle East. All these various offshoots of Al-Qaeda, Jabhat al-Nusra, and these people were, head choppers, to put it lightly, but they killed people. They killed many people. They terrorized populations, and we completely whitewashed the whole operation, calling them moderate rebels for years. And they just absolutely dismembered and destroyed that country. And that's what the U.S. government and its allies in Israel wanted. And that's what they got. And as soon as the job is done and the country is now dismembered and falling apart and is a basket case of a country with a terrorist head in charge, now that job is done, well, you don't hear much about the Al-Qaeda threat anymore, do you? Nor the ISIS threat. Isn't that so convenient?
You don't hear about the ISIS or Al-Qaeda threat because it's HTS, this moderate regime. So it's been totally rebranded, and I would say that the American media is complicit. Generating consent to allow us to take HTS or Al-Qaeda or al-Nusra, ISIS off of the designated terrorist list to allow this. So we're running out of time. But Patrick Henningsen, I want to thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, it's great to be with you. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Despite a U.S. brokered ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, IDF strikes on southern Lebanon continue. RT Steve Sweeney filed this update.
Paramedics are very much on the front line of Israel's war on Lebanon, risking their lives on a daily basis. Each call-out could save lives, but could also cost them their own. In Nabati al-Fawa, 2 paramedics escaped death as Israel targeted them in a drone strike while they were responding to an emergency call. They were treated for their injuries, but are already back in the field.
We heard a sound and received a call telling us to move. We reached an army checkpoint, which directed us to the target area, the Al-Bared neighborhood. On the way there, we received a call from someone in the village, and just 30 meters from his house, we were targeted. When the airstrike happened, we didn't hear the sound of a missile or anything like that, only the sound of the explosion. Then came the smoke and shrapnel. The airstrike was very close, no more than 3 meters from the ambulance I was driving. The second ambulance was 50 meters behind us. When we were targeted, the paramedics in the second ambulance pulled us out and took us to the hospital. I returned to work to fulfill my humanitarian duty of saving lives. I only stopped working for the hour I was at the hospital receiving treatment after the attack.
They say they'll continue responding to emergencies despite the risks, insisting civilians still depend on them as the Israeli attacks continue.
From the first day of the truce until today, we have been subjected to numerous attacks in several villages. We have endured more than 10 attacks targeting civilians, as well as direct attacks against us. Despite all these dangers surrounding us and the sacrifices we and our colleagues from other organizations are making, we will remain here, steadfast with our people, to heal the wounded and care for them. We have lost a large number of martyrs, but we will continue on this humanitarian path to which we have pledged ourselves. We will remain here until the last paramedic.
These paramedics survived. Many of their colleagues haven't. According to Lebanon's health ministry, more than 130 emergency medical workers have been killed since the Israeli escalation, while ambulances, hospitals and civil defense facilities have repeatedly come under attack. Human rights organisations and UN officials have documented alleged double-tap strikes in which rescuers responding to an initial attack are caught in a second one. Attacks on health workers and facilities are a war crime under international law. Lawyers and human rights groups have warned that the recently signed framework agreement between Lebanon, Israel and the United States prevents cases from being brought in international fora, meaning that justice may never be served. This is Steve Sweeney for RT in Nabatea, southern Lebanon.
Is this real? Recently, somebody at the State Department made a serious mistake. Take a look. During a presentation at a global conference in Brazil, a U.S. government map of Africa mislabeled 6 of the continent's nations. The map was so bad, the countries on the map did not even show the boundaries of any actual existing countries. So we're curious, how bad is it actually at the State Department? We sent a reporter to Washington, D.C. to see how many people outside the State Department office could successfully locate countries on a map of Africa. Take a look.
South Africa.
There's a map of Africa. How many countries do you think you can name?
I probably almost all of them.
Let's try.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so, but
You can do a few.
okay, that one's Egypt.
There we go.
That one's Madagascar.
That's good.
Um,
What about South Africa? That one should be.
okay, yeah, that's true. South Africa's down there.
I should know, but I don't know if I know that. Well, at least I can spot out Nigeria on here.
Okay.
All right. So that's Nigeria.
Okay.
All right.
What else you got?
Right next to Nigeria should be Benin. That's it. That's all I got.
Algeria, Morocco, Western Sahara, Mauritania, Nigeria, Ghana, Togo, Benin. I could keep going on. South Africa.
South Africa. On this map, to be honest, I do not know where that is.
How about Egypt?
Egypt. That right over there.
Close enough?
Right over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allora, English, Egypt, poi c'è la Libia, che non so, Libia.
Used to be Italy.
La Tunisia, ok. Questa è l'Algeria. Marocco. Oddio, quello non lo so sinceramente.
Poi
So che c'è allora la Costa d'Avorio, che è la... come si dice Costa d'Avorio? South Africa, poi c'è la Madagascar, l'Angola, il Burundi.
Don't do this to me. No. I mean, I can, but no. No, don't do this to me.
You know a few, I'm sure you do.
I do, but then I don't at the same time.
Just give it a shot.
No. I'm like looking at
What about South Africa? That's not too hard.
yeah, but it's one of the countries in the South. It's not just all of the South.
Egypt. You know Egypt?
I do know Egypt, but now see, yeah, no. Without any names, I can't.
It's
like,
okay.
I'm up here like Egypt, I'm thinking Sudan, I'm thinking Nigeria, and I'm up here like, yeah, now I can't.
Well, at least you know the names of them.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, and I want to say South Africa. Isn't that over more this way?
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I want to say maybe that one or that one.
Okay, multimillionaire Kevin O'Leary is backing the controversial Stratos data center project in Utah. The site will occupy some 20,000 acres in Box Elder County, but local residents are concerned about the ecological impact of the data center. America Now's Elizabeth Lane reports.
The proposed data center in Box Elder County has been promoted as a project that could transform Utah into a global leader in artificial intelligence. Supporters point to jobs, investment, and technological leadership. But for many Utahns, those promises are overshadowed by a growing list of environmental and public health concerns that remain unanswered. Whether the project ultimately proves beneficial or harmful, one thing is clear. A development of this scale deserves extraordinary scrutiny before construction even begins. The Great Salt Lake is already facing one of the worst ecological crises in its history. Developers have stated that the project will rely on advanced closed-loop cooling system and transferred agricultural water rights. However, many residents, scientists, and environmental groups argue that these claims have not been backed by publicly available engineering studies or long-term operational data. The Great Salt Lake is far more than just a body of water. It supports millions of migratory birds, unique wetlands, and an ecosystem that affects the health of the entire Wasatch Front. We spoke with farmers, scientists, and other experts about potential health and environmental impacts of data centers. Despite their different backgrounds, they all raise the same concern. There is a serious lack of independent research into how data centers may affect both human health and the surrounding environment.
So Utah's future, for one, should not be an experiment. And I do support innovation, bringing jobs to Utah. I support America being the country that leads the world in artificial intelligence. But none of those goals should come at the cost of the people who live in Utah, and especially the environment that future generations are going to inherit.
Some state leaders even had to resign and were not even picked afterwards. So that kind of shows that we do have power. Yeah. We just need to be activists out there and actually take action versus just talk.
Scientists have repeatedly warned that declines in the Great Salt Lake threaten wetlands, migratory birds, local ecosystems, and air quality. And air quality has already been a huge problem in Utah specifically. But as more of the lake bed becomes exposed, the risk of toxic dust containing naturally occurring chemicals increases. And now we also have this giant data center polluting the air, and that's not acceptable for Utahns.
Perhaps the most important point is this: it is much easier to prevent environmental damage than it is to fix it. And aquifers can take decades to recover. Wildlife habitats may never fully return once they're disrupted, and a shrinking lake can't be restored overnight. So once ecosystems are damaged, future generations are left to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, it's just like inflation. Like once prices go up, they never go back down.
Exactly.
And once the environment is damaged, it's not going to get fixed.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the same, right?
Exactly. I have not heard anyone talk about the waste, and AI servers are replaced frequently as technology advances. And this is creating what is called e-waste. And e-waste contains a large amount of heavy metals, rare earth minerals, plastics, and other materials that must be properly recycled or disposed of. And as AI infrastructure grows, so does its demand for mining materials that are needed to build new equipment.
And on that note, another thing that's not been talked about is potentially defective or damaged lithium-ion batteries, which these lithium-ion batteries are needed for these very large AI data centers. And they can experience thermal runaway when they're damaged, and that can produce a lot of fires. And we already know there are a lot of fire problems in Utah, and this damage is irreversible.
Thank you for coming and talking about it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And that is America Now. I'm Jalyssa Dugrot. For more stories, visit our website at rt.com and join us every night at 7, 8, 9, and 10. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night. And to remember to question everything.